That's it, because that's enough. Yeah, and again, that's what I really hope, is I hope when Classic comes out, it really teaches a lesson about what people want. What gamers want, excuse me. Again, my big fear, and what I think is the truth, is that it will teach a lesson. Blizzard will find out, and they will see that, because imagine if they took Classic and just polished it. Take Classic and put the new spell animations and the new character models, the new sound effects in there. Imagine how much better the game would be. Just give it a facelift. Don't touch the elements of the gameplay. Just make it look better. Suddenly, you now have a great game. Now, put in some of the balancing fixes. Fix the bugs that came up. Imagine Classic that had some of the quality of life stuff. Dungeon maps. Dungeon maps are a good idea. They make sense. Fuck it, make them a drop. That's a perfect solution. You want to use a map in a dungeon? Well, you've never fucking been here. How would you know where shit's at? But the final boss drops a map, and once you collect the map, it's a usable item, and all of a sudden you can press M and see where you're at. Why? Because you've done the damn thing now, so you deserve to know where you're at. Imagine if they just took the time to marry the best parts of both sides of the spectrum. How good of a game they would have. Yeah, I mean, you'd have Burning Crusade, ostensibly. That's what Burning Crusade was. Burning Crusade was Classic but fixed, and that's not my line. I forget who said it, but that's what it was. Burning Crusade was so great, and it was, and that's the thing, is Wrath gets the credit for where sub numbers peaked at like 10, 11 million, but what they forget was that those numbers got there because of Burning Crusade. Burning Crusade was where the climb started. Burning Crusade is what gave it the upward momentum to get there. And that's because Burning Crusade was all the best parts of Classic, but then all the worst parts fixed, at least fixed a lot more than they were in Classic. Yeah, so I'm just massively excited about the concept of Classic WoW. More so than I did really thought I would be, but as I've kept making these videos of me just rambling on, and really kind of getting critical of game design, gameplay, what Blizzard has done right, what they've done wrong, what they could do better, how to fix things, I find myself much more drawn to Classic, and I look forward to coming home from work and having an hour and logging in and getting like fuck all done, getting one quest done, but I'm going to have fun doing that one quest. Because doing one quest that's challenging and fulfilling is so much better than doing 3 or 4 that are literally like, the quest text pops up and I just hit accept. I don't even give a fuck to read it, because all I'm going to do is look at the map and go to the yellow and kill the stuff that's got the words underneath it, because I don't give a shit, because the quests don't matter. I'm just doing a thing to do it. Versus, and it may just be kill 10 fucking boars, but you get the quest half the map away in the zone, and the guy goes, oh, go over to the area just south of blah blah blah's pond near the pumpkin patch, and those damn boars are giving us all kinds of trouble, so go over there and kill them and bring me 8 sets of testicles so you can show me that you killed 8 of them. But they gotta be the good testicles. I don't want no roughshot ones. Only the pristine ones will do. So you gotta kill actually 30 of them to get the 8 pristine testicles. And you had to sit there and go, where the fuck's this at? Oh, okay, so it's by blah, blah, blah's pond, which is, okay, I see that on the map. And then, okay, so he said east of the pumpkin patch, so it's got to be this little spot right here. Sure enough, you go there and it's filled with boars. You don't know if they're the right fucking boars, because there's like 3 different kinds of boars in the zone. But now you kill a couple, and sure. And sure enough, you get a set of pristine testicles, and now you know, I'm in the right spot. And then you spend the next 20 minutes killing them, but then you accidentally aggro too many because you didn't realize that while most of them are only neutral towards you, there's a couple hostile ones floating around, so you pulled 2 neutral ones because you got a little carried away and then bumped into a hostile one. Now you have 3 of them to fight, and you just got your shit fucked up, and now you have to corpse run back. But now you know the hostile ones are there. And so now you kind of got your head on a swivel while you're killing the neutral ones. Oh, there's a hostile one, so you decide, I'm going to pick him off because he's kind of walking too close to me. So now you've made a conscious choice. You've made a decision. You've actually used your brain to make things easier and better for you, and you're actually enjoying the game because you're not just engaging in an activity, you're critically thinking about how to do it. That is fun. And it's just killing too many boars to collect 8 sets of testicles. But it's fun because you had to think about it. You actually had to engage the game. You're playing a game, not doing a thing. And that is what we all miss. It is why so many people are excited for Classic to come back, because it marks a point when WoW was a game, not just a thing you do. And when I come home from work, I don't want to do a thing. I do things all day long. I come home from work and I do things in my house. I've got to move some shit upstairs. I've got to put together another piece of furniture. I've got to let the fucking dog out. I've got to feed the dog. I've got to, cook dinner. I've got to do all this. I have so much shit to do. I have so many things to do that all I want to do is I want to retire to my computer and for an hour collect testicles off of a bunch of boars, but have a lot of fun doing it because it was a challenge to be overcome. We just want to play a game. We don't want to do a thing. We don't want companion apps. Because that really is. Let's go off on a tirade right here. That was when I think a lot of us knew. That's when the subconscious feeling that this is kind of just a little bit boring, but it looks real nice, and fuck yeah, we get to fight the Burning Legion. And you know what? I think that's why Legion worked. Why is Legion remembered so fondly, even though, honestly, I don't see a lot of differences between Legion and Battle for Azeroth. So why does Battle for Azeroth get so much shit but Legion doesn't? Is because the foe, the enemy in Legion, was very close to our hearts. Arthas was the face of the enemies of WoW. That is always going to be true. He's always the most iconic. But the biggest enemy in World of Warcraft was the Burning Crusade. Not even Sargeras. Fuck Sargeras. I don't like that they put Sargeras in the game as heavily as they did. And they really didn't. You never directly fought him. Thank God. That would have been ridiculous. But the Burning Crusade, the Burning Legion, as a kind of amorphous mass of enemies, is, again, for me, starting a Burning Crusade, but I think they were still there throughout a lot of the game. The concept of this army of never-ending demons, it was engaging because they were a good enemy. You like to fight them. They made the game not boring because the Legion was such a big enemy and such a big thing to fight, where right now, Battle for Azeroth, they ham-fisted the faction war back in there, and now our enemy is, supposed to be the other side, but the other side doesn't feel big enough because the faction war really isn't there in earnest. I think Battle for Azeroth they jumped the gun. I think had they built up to it better, it would have made sense, but it makes so little sense because we literally just got done coming together as a planet to stop the space demons. So, I think part of the reason Battle for Azeroth is falling so flat is because they also underestimated the necessity of a good villain, of a good story. And you'll hear assholes talk shit like, oh, wow, storytelling is terrible, writers don't know what they're doing. Fuck you, it's fun. I enjoy it. Is it disjointed? Does it not always make sense? Yeah, sure. But the visual story that gets told through the game is good. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's silly. It's quirky. It's whimsical. But it's entertaining. It's a B movie. That's what WoW is. It's a playable B movie in the story aspect. And people love B movies. That's not the B movie with fucking Seinfeld, but B movies. In Battle for Azeroth, the story it really wants to be there. It's sort of there. The problem is they're trying to, and you can really see it, and I've noticed this in a few things over the last decade or so. Game of Thrones fucked up storytelling for a lot of people, because now everybody tries to be like Game of Thrones. They want these multi-threaded stories that are all coexisting at once, that have, you know, intricacies that intertwine and kind of intersect and then diverge, and it just doesn't fucking work. And that's what Battle for Azeroth is. There's all these different stories, all these different big baddies kind of coexisting at once, trying to fight. But the problem is, in the video game, I don't want a bunch of different nuanced stories. I want one big evil motherfucker to focus our attention on. And it's interesting, because I remember somebody just not too long ago watching a video about somebody kind of talking about a Burning Crusade. I think it was Bellular Telephone. I think it was him talking about how Burning Crusade, like the villain being Illidan, kind of fell a little flat, and it didn't have the same oomph that Arthas did. But I disagree, because Illidan was never really, to me at least, Illidan wasn't the big baddie of Burning Crusade. He was the box art guy, sure. And that's because, you know, demon hunters look cool and shit. But the real enemy of Burning Crusade was the Burning Legion. It was the demons. It was, you know, all the demons. You know, you went to, what was it? I can't remember the zone name. Shadow Moon Valley in Burning Crusade, and it was just fucking demons everywhere. Everything else was just shit that was on the road to more demons. You know, you went to what was it called? Not Terracar Forest. What was the Blade's Edge Mountains? There's like ogres and shit there, but they're just in the way until you get to more demons. It was the Burning Legion as kind of this incomprehensible army. That was the villain, and it was a good villain. It was a good bad guy, because again, it made you feel small. It made you feel like just one little cog doing its stuff. Even when you're doing fucking world quests, which again are the, you know, daily quests, which were the world quests of their day. And, you know, we're the same shit over and over again. We're worse. You know, daily quests were arguably worse, because it was literally the same thing over and over again, where at least world quests try to disguise it with a little bit of variety. But people seem to remember daily quests more fondly than they do world quests. A lot because of nostalgia. I think everything else was good around them, so you kind of ignored that daily quests were dumb. But I also think it was because world quests kind of put you in this position of feeling like this champion doing champion things, and please, hero, go. Where daily quests were just like, hey, you asshole, go collect me more testicles. Okay, here's a satchel of pubic fur for collecting me some testicles. That'll get you some smiles out of those people over there. And the idea, I kind of think that the lack of reward was a reward, because again, it enforced this idea that you were a small little person in a big scary world overcoming odds. You know, the world is like literally filled with giant demons, and a lot of them would kill you. That's another thing that doesn't exist in the game anymore, is just random areas that are just filled with elites that are 5 levels higher than you, that'll jam your shit in all the way down to the other side. That was Burning Crusade. Burning Crusade felt epic, because there is that path of glory leading from the gate out of Hellfire Peninsula, was just filled with fucking skull-level elites that were literally towering over you. And if you got anywhere near them, they were going to stomp you fucking flat. It made you feel small. It made you feel vulnerable. It made you feel weak. It made you feel like you needed to be part of something greater. You needed a guild, because the only way you're ever going to kill this shit was with a bunch of friends. You needed the institutions within the game and the game's story. You need to be part of the, in Wrath, it was the Argent Crusade. In the Burning Crusade, it was, the Scryers in the Aldor? You needed to be, you felt required and needed to join these in-game factions along with your guild, because you just knew that the odds were insurmountable, and you were so small, and you needed help. And because you weren't like just you weren't fucking Rambo like we are now, where you could literally just kill fucking everything, especially one-on-one. There was challenges, there was enemies, there was danger. And, I mean, Classic exemplified this because in Burning Crusade, they had to have big, giant skulled-out elites. In Classic, because I remember this even during Burning Crusade while leveling, at level 60, you pulled too many fucking regular mobs, you died. Because it made you feel, it made your character relatable. That's what all this is. It's about being relatable to your character. Because I am not a demigod in real life, which is, they actually fucking called you a demigod in Legion, which was, I literally face desked when I first heard it. I think I may have only been the Paladin Order Hall where they said, I think the High Commander's a demigod. And I was like, for fuck's sake! Like, I don't want to be a demigod. Like, that's not fun, because that's not who I am. And it's, because it can be done right. God of War, you're a demigod, I think. I've never played God of War. Is that weird? A lot of games have that, but that's the whole core of the game. The core of World of Warcraft, I am not a fucking demigod. I ostensibly am. Currently in the game, you're just almightily powerful. I can fight off as many fucking bears at once as you can throw at me. And that's not fun. It seems silly, it seems, counterintuitive, but I want to feel weak, I want to feel helpless, I want to feel like, I want fighting a wolf by itself to be a challenge, and 2 wolves at once to be fucking impossible, that I have to run away from. Because that makes it fulfilling to kill 10 wolves, and steal their testicles.